For December 2022, I made some gifts for Christmas presents. So in today's video, I would like to quickly talk about what it was that I made and gifted for some of those close to me this Christmas just gone of 2022. Hi, welcome back. My name is Holly-Beth and this is my cozy crafts corner, I suppose we're becoming. Here we have been documenting my handcrafting journey from project 1 up until now of the wonderful knitting. Now this is very late, it's February 2023 right now, so you might be saying, why on earth are we still talking about Christmas things? Well, to answer that, this wasn't really supposed to be that late, but here we are. But to be honest, this might just be more for me with how I am wanting to kind of metaphorically write down everything that I made and gifted for Christmas just gone, so that information is in a safe place and it won't get lost, and I can refer back to it in the future and plan future gifts around that, because my memory is okay, but it's not perfect. This is going to be kind of a knit and chat style-ish video kind of thing. If you've just stumbled across this video, firstly, hi, it's nice to meet you, but you would rather watch more current progress. I will leave my whole playlist of podcasts down below in the description, in a pinned comment, and also in the corner as well for you to watch if that's better suited for you and what you're interested in. But if you are still here and are interested in what I gifted or made and gifted for Christmas just gone and how the gifts were received, then I appreciate you and let's get started. So a little bit of information just in case you're interested, I guess. I mentioned this in my last podcast. This was a whip, or a brand new whip in my last podcast. I am currently working on the coziest memory blanket pattern by Beret, and it's going to be a baby blanket, a very big one at that, but that's what I'm working on, so we'll see how we go. Most of these as well obviously were gifts, so it is mainly going to be photos or past podcast clips of me showing said items. I figured that would be the best option, the best and the easiest option. It's going to be a lot to edit, but I just think that for the fact of having everything in one place, ideally I would have preferred this to go up in January. And some people still haven't had these gifts as well, so some of them I won't be able to really say exactly how they were received. They do know about them, so they can go in this video. Alas, that's what we're going to do. So the first thing to mention is, I don't think it was the first scarf, it wasn't the second. The third scarf I ever made was for my granddad, and this scarf was a basic, was it? Yes. So actually this scarf kind of went through it a little bit, because I originally had planned for it to be the similar like mistake rib pattern, and I didn't like it. I didn't like how it looked. So I ripped it all out, started again, and decided to just do a basic garter stitch blue coloured scarf with white ends basically. This blue was such an adventure because I really this scarf itself was quite the adventure, because I really wanted for it to be the same colours, basically like bang on as close as I could to his favourite football team, which is QPR. So after we'd spent some time in the yarn shop deciding what colours and would be best, I then had to work out how many I'd need, and I was close. I was close enough with the amount, but that was basically the deal with that. So all of the scarves ended up being a very similar length. It was round. The only one that was different was my personal one, which is absolutely huge. They all ended up being about 75 inches long. I'll put on the screen what that is in centimeters, but that's kind of the measurement that I started with, and I just kept with that. So they're all around the same length. Off the top of my head, I don't remember exactly how long each scarf took me without looking back at my podcast. And I mean, this is literally the reason I started it, you know, like started this whole journey essentially, that and to build a community. Because there's not many people around here that are super accessible in the sense of knowing people. But I think each scarf took me maybe anywhere between, I think 2 weeks was a bit of a push, but like at that time, at that stage when I was still learning what technique I liked, how I wanted to do things. But basically I was maybe taking 2, 3, 4 weeks at most on a scarf. I don't think it was 4 weeks. Maybe some of them was, no, I think it was between 2 and 3 weeks, maybe a month. So they weren't necessarily a quick project. That was something I, you know, bear in mind. I was like, okay, well, let's hope that they are well received because they're taking a while. And the thing with the scarves obviously is that they were the same thing over and over and over again, which is why maybe as well I mentally thought, okay, well, if I put the white parts at the end, because I did the same with every single other one actually, if I do that as well, it kind of gives me something exciting to look, like something to get excited about getting close to. Maybe, I don't know if that was just a thing in my head that I mentally just wanted to do, possibly. I do know that I mentioned the blue scarf, or my granddad's scarf, in episode 1. But anyway, this scarf was knit in both Sandnes Garn. It was their merino wool, and it was their white colour, which I think the colour code is 1001, and their blue, one of their blue colourways, which is a really nice rich blue. The colourway for that was 5846. As always, the colour codes will be on the screen, as we always do. I think some of them I was a little bit lacking in the sense of writing down how many it took. I know how many skeins some of them took because that's how I was working out how much I might need, but I'm unsure if I wrote down quite how many it took. If I did, I will include it, but we'll just make sure that we write it all down for next year. To mention as well, my granddad was he was so happy with his little scarf. Instantly, he just started smiling. It was just really sweet. It was really, really cute. And my grandparents are the type of people that they've always been really grateful for gifts. And I think I mentioned this in a previous podcast. They've always been super grateful for gifts. However, if it's a gift that you've made, like handmade or just anything of that nature, they just love it so much more. They adore it. They'll shout about it until the cows come home. Little English saying for you. He loved it. He loved the thought behind the colours. Yeah, he very much loved it. I forgot to mention as well that this scarf, I'm pretty sure, was held double, I think. So whilst we're talking about my granddad's scarf, we'll talk about my nan's scarf. And this I ended up doing so much swatching for because I couldn't find how I wanted it, because the yarn I used was slightly thinner. It had white, the white ends to it, but then it had like a mild pink's colour in the middle. It's still one of my favourite scarves to this day, actually. This I also just did in a garter stitch pattern. I think what I ended up doing the Sandnes Garn double and then doing the pinks held quadruple, so 2 of each pink, and I just think it ended up being such a thick material, and I loved it. For the colour combination, I used the same white as my granddad's scarf. I still have quite a lot left over actually. I bought far too much white, but that was because I thought that I was going to be mixing the white in for my nan's scarf, because I had originally actually thought of doing a white and red scarf, but that didn't happen because I saw the pinks and I preferred how they look. And I don't have the pink colour codes written down, but just for reference, I don't know if you can see, this is how much pink I have left still, and I'm not really sure what to do with it. I'm unsure but you can kind of see that there's like a darker, not really plum, but like a plum kind of pink, and there's just like this really nice baby pink, and they're the colours that I use to achieve those colours. For reference, for the darker colour is colourway 818 and the lighter colour is 865. The reason this one's thinner is because it was a slightly different type, so it's merino wool but it's the baby garn. I wanted to make sure that although the Sandnes Garn is very soft, like the merino wool, I wanted to use baby garn for hers because I thought that would be a smart decision. And I still have so much yarn left. I'm now thinking, my brother is having a baby girl. I wonder if I can make something out of this. Could be cool. We're thinking about things. I've just realised I picked up the project, which I'm gonna have to keep switching colours. But yeah, as I said before, my nan and Grandad love handmade things, so naturally they were very happy with these gifts that I gave them, and they were so not concerned, they were just so shocked because they were like, oh, how long did these take you, goodness me. And they were very grateful and very thankful, very knitworthy people. Absolutely. So then we move on to my mum's scarf. That ended up being in a similar length, so 75 inches. The yarns that I used for my mum's was the House of Yarn Silk Yarns, and they were again 100% merino wool. There was a white colour, which I think the colour code was 413, and I used this like stone brown colour, which I still have some of, and I think it's a really nice mix. It gives like a mild effect. It's the same as what I did for my scarf, and this brownie colour was 425. I held it double for 2 whites and 1 white and 1 brown when it came to the mild part in the middle. She also got a matching hat and so I did the same for the hat. I did just a chunkier style hat so it would match, and I added a little pom-pom on it. That I actually did fairly recently. She was very happy with both, and she's worn them a few times. I can't complain. She was quite happy. One thing to mention about my mum's scarf is that I use the mistake rib pattern, so different to my grandparents' scarves. So that was nice to have something so similar to mine. But yeah, she really likes them. She was really grateful, and it was just, yeah, really well received. Okay, then we move on to, I made my dad 2 hats. One that was made out of one that I made way back in summer, and that was made out of the rest of the Sanders yarn that was used on my granddad's scarf, which was the navy blue, and I just made a basic 2x2 ribbed beanie. That was always going to be a Christmas present for him, but the job that he does, so he does sort of grounds maintenance, so he works a lot with like grass, hedgerows, things like that, and he didn't want it to get ruined. So I then made him the grey acrylic beanie, which actually was quite a recent, I say recent, it was before Christmas, so I made that for him as well. And the grey acrylic was just an acrylic I had in my stash. It was good to get it gone but he's worn that hat so every single day for work. It's really nice to see someone that you knit for, it's really nice to see them wear what you make them. I don't know, that one was quite nice. I did also make a sort of neck warmer buff for him, but that was so delayed in regard, like it wasn't a Christmas thing. It was more of just a gift that he had asked for. There is that too. It's worth the mention. So that is what I made for my dad this year. Sticking on the conversation of beanies, I made one of my bestest friends a beanie for Christmas. It was out of some of the light blue merino wool that I had left over from my little secret crop vest pattern, which I brought back, and I knew I wanted to make it into a hat, so I kept it. They really liked that colour blue. When I did my first ever like colour change, like colour striped, I don't know, like a colour changing swatch, I sent that to him, and he really liked the blue, and that stuck with me. And that was, you know, Christmas the year before that I swatched that. It was when I first started, so it just kind of stuck with me. So I knew that I wanted to make that for him, and so I did. He very much liked it. Yeah, we have a little joke, or a little laugh about it in our game, because there's a light blue beanie that you can wear in the game that we're playing as a group, and he wants to match. So I think that was very successful, and I'm very lucky to have that friend. Yeah, I made a beanie for that person. I made it in the biggest size, Same with my dad's. It used up that merino wool. I have the tiniest amount left, which we'll have to find out what I do with that. The colour code for that one is 209 and it's just their light blue colourway. Okay, I have the right amount of stitches that I've picked up, so now I can actually knit and talk at the same time. To just stick on like friends' gifts is, they haven't had this yet just because I haven't been able to ship it out, but I did make some little posters for one of my friends as well, and that was kind of a birthday, Christmas joy thing, but they haven't had them yet, so I don't know what their proper reaction is. But I also made those as well, so that was just a very quick little side note. They were made out of a grey cotton that I still have loads of in my stash, and I do quite enjoy making the little coasters. I just think that they're really quick and they're really simple and they look very, very sweet, in my opinion. So I also made those, and I made 2 of those for her. Hopefully I can get those sent off. I'm thinking of sending them off at the same time as the baby things that I've made for a friend up north. I'm excited for them to receive them. Okay, so the second to last thing, it was a gift for my brother and his girlfriend for Christmas, but it wasn't like the main gift, but they had it for Christmas, so I'm going to put it under that bracket. It was the little purple comfort baby blanket or comforter that I had made for them. I had made it out of the brand again, the Ostervin. That is a acrylic and polyester mix, but the fabric that it made was just incredible. It was so soft. It was brilliant. It was in this purple colour and I really enjoyed making it, like every second, apart from the one little stitch that I did wrong. But they really liked it, and it sounds strange talking about it when I'm making another one, but I think that it's such a nice blanket that it was the material more than anything. It felt shop bought, that material, when you've knitted it up, and it was wonderful. It wasn't huge. It was just, I think it was a good enough size to classify it as a comforter, as well as it being just a very small blanket, very much a baby blanket. Yeah, I wouldn't even be against trying to find more of that yarn to make a blanket for me, because I was very impressed with it. But it was using a diagonal stitch where you use yarn overs to create like a stitch border, and it was very fun to knit. I would definitely make another one like within a heartbeat. The purple colour code I think was 461. It's a wonderful yarn, I think, in my opinion, from working with it, and I think that it will be well loved where it's going, or where it went. And yeah, I'm really proud of that one. I know it's, some people might just see it as a baby blanket, but I just think, well, anything you make, especially if it's going to someone else, is special, regardless whether it's a coaster, whether it's a hat, whether it's a jumper, whatever. I really liked it. Maybe there might be another one of those on the horizon. We will see. I've had a few, found out another one of my close friends is having a baby, so there's going to be even more baby knits. I think it's exciting stuff. And then the last thing that I made for Christmas, however they haven't had it yet, however they have seen it / reacted to it, is my first ever pair of socks that I have knitted, ever. Still my only pair of socks that I have knit. I want to cast another one on soon, but I just wanted to get a bunch of other things done first, basically. Probably get the hat and the crop top done, and then we'll cast on a pair of socks, maybe. These socks, I used a free pattern on Ravelry. It was the DK Treasures ribbed sock pattern, and it was by Christine Longdags, I think. And it was in it was the Mjuk Frost Ragagon, which is a wool and nylon blend. It's specifically really, it's a yarn that you use for hardware and projects like socks, and I was so impressed with how that yarn knit up, like with the colours. The colorway was 902, which is kind of in their description words. On their website they call it like the Coke grey colorway, and I loved those socks. They will be coming with me when I see him next, because he lives in a different country. Yeah, I was so proud of them. The reaction was very sweet. He kind of not challenged me, but asked if I could make him some socks. I said it was really cool if you could, like, could you do it? So I was like, sure, I can give it a go. And so I did. I'm really glad I did, actually. Really glad I did, because the fact that I can sit here and say that I have made a pair of socks, I just think that's really cool, because socks were the thing that always scared me the most. Not the most, but just a large amount. Because just the construction of them, I think it's the construction and the heel that always has scared me. And again, even going through the process of trying to plan my next pair, I just don't really know the best way to go. I'm unsure. We'll see how we go. Yeah, the pattern is fantastic. It's really easy to adjust the length because it's a 3x1 rib. It's very versatile to fit many sizes, and you could adapt if you so need to, but it's generally a pattern that kind of is a one size fits all situation. But a fantastic pattern for beginners. I really do recommend it. That's everything that I made for Christmas. That was my little list. So now in the future, when I come back and I can be like, maybe in 2-3 years time, be like, oh, what did I gift them? Like, what have I actually gifted them? Like this person. Now I can look back and be like, okay, it was that. Cool. But yeah, that was it. That's all I wanted to talk about. And I'm hoping that I can make this into I'll probably do one every year, naturally. If there's not much to talk about, then maybe I might just put it in a podcast. And I think it's quite nice as well that I can talk about this as a roundup situation, where when I was making all of these things, in the summer, the scarves particularly, and I was saying in my first few podcasts, okay, these are going to be Christmas gifts. I know it's early, but I just think it's nice to bring them back, like to talk about them again, now that they are gifted, and everything was so well received and so well loved from the ones that have been gifted already. I just think that's really sweet. So overall, I would very much say that every single one of these projects that I made and gifted to people was very much worth it, and I wouldn't have changed any of them really at all. So I'm very grateful that I had such a positive experience, I think. So yeah, gifting and knitting is a bit of an interesting topic for some people, because some people just knit for themselves, some people gift, some people don't necessarily want to gift, some people gift and have a bad experience. I think it's down to personal opinion and personal discretion. That's just my thing, my 2 cents. And yeah, but that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about. If you're still here, I would really appreciate it if you would like the video. It really helps for me, but also it really helps for you guys telling YouTube that, yeah, you liked this content. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of the video. It's a very chill one compared to what we usually do, and I definitely still feel very brain foggy, so the energy might not quite have been there, but we'll hopefully get there as soon as we're able to, and as soon as we're better and it's not too much of an issue anymore. Hopefully these streams, the live streams, will be back as soon as possible as well. So with that, I'll see you guys very, very soon. Thank you for being here. Bye. We got 1 and a bit squares done. We probably got the equivalent of 1 square done, which it was just nice to sit, knit and talk with you.